everyone, welcome to this updated video. I trust and hope you're doing really good. Maybe you're getting ready to hunker down for this major hurricane if you're in Florida, but you're currently looking at major hurricane Milton right now on your screen. So this hurricane is a category 5 system. So at the peak intensity, it had winds up to 180 miles per hour and a minimum central pressure of 897 millibars. And the last hurricane to have its pressure within the 800s was actually Wilma back in 2005. So almost 19 years ago when we had a hurricane this intense. So Milton underwent an annual replacement cycle that caused it to weaken a little bit, but now it's back to category 5 status, and it is holding on dearly to that intensity. So landfall is expected later tonight going into tomorrow morning for Florida, and it is going to be bringing catastrophic conditions. So we'll be taking a look at all that is expected with Milton. And just before we head into the details, do want to look at this graphic here. So it's not just Milton, there are a couple of other systems out there. So we have Invest 93L, so that is a disturbance that is well offshore the Bahamas and East Coast, and that one is given a 50% formation chance. Now it could briefly become a tropical or even a subtropical storm later today, and should it acquire such status, the next name on the list for the season is Dani'i. So don't be surprised if later today you hear about a new storm forming, but it could near the island of Bermuda and bring some impacts. So we'll definitely be watching for that. And then there's also Hurricane Leslie out there, a very resilient hurricane that isn't a threat to land, thankfully. And then there's a tropical wave about to emerge off of the African coast. That one has only a 10% formation chance, but it could bring some inclement weather conditions to the Cabo Verde Islands. So that those are the other systems that are currently out there, guys. But Milton is going to be the main focus of this video. However, we also want to talk about the Caribbean and what's going on here. So let's switch to the satellite imagery for the region, and here we can see that there isn't much really. Milton is very much evident in the Gulf right now, and we see some other colors scattered about here and there. So maybe some morning showers and thunderstorms across some areas, but nothing too crazy right now. And even pertaining to the rainfall forecast today for the region, the more color we see, the more rain is expected. So for the northwestern Bahamas, there's definitely going to be quite a bit of rainfall. Some heavy downpours will be possible, and with that, there could be some instances of flooding. So please make a note of that and do not take any unnecessary risks. Heading further south and towards the vicinity of the Turks and Caicos Islands, much not expected today. Could see a passing shower or so at the most. And then towards the vicinity of Cuba and the Cayman Islands and Jamaica, there could be some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Not going to be for everywhere within the area, but some areas could definitely experience some heavy downpours at times. Things are not going to be so active for Belize and parts of the Yucatan, even headed towards sections of Honduras and Guatemala. But further south to southern Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, even down to northern South America, so Colombia and a few spots in Venezuela may experience some heavy rainfall today. Things will likely be on the drier side for the Guyanas, and could see some scattered showers around for parts of the Lesser Antilles and the ABC Islands as well, even up to the Virgin Islands and a few spots in Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. So as I said, there isn't a major system in the Caribbean right now to be unleashing a plethora of rain across a very widespread area, but some areas could still experience some heavy downpours as we head throughout today. Now, as it pertains to Milton, let's go ahead and talk about the cone forecast for it. So here we can see it, and we can see much of Florida under that hurricane warning, which is in red. So that red highlight is a hurricane warning extended to parts of the Panhandle. We see a blue highlight also for coastal Georgia and go into southern Florida and the northwestern Bahamas. So that is a tropical storm warning. So tropical storm conditions will be likely within these areas within the next 24 hours. And then we see a yellow highlight for parts of South Carolina. That's a tropical storm watch. So Milton is going to be bringing the worst of its impacts, land impacts, that is, to parts of western Florida, the vicinity of Tampa. So The thing is, it is currently traversing very warm waters and it has been holding on to its intensity. And it was actually forecast to be weakening by this time, but it has not been weakening. Matter of fact, the minimum pressure has dropped a bit since last night into this morning. Usually when there is a decrease in pressure, that is a sign that the system is getting a bit stronger. So the winds are holding though at 160 miles per hour, but eventually it should encounter some wind shear, those upper level winds interfering with the system, and that should result in a bit of weakening. However, that does not make a difference. It is going to be a catastrophic hurricane at landfall. Matter of fact, ahead of Milton, there is a blob of rain and storms moving into parts of Florida. So this is going to increase that flood threat even more, because some areas could experience some flooding rains throughout today before the main system even arrives, because conditions are going to gradually deteriorate as the day goes on for Florida. And then late tonight, going into very early tomorrow, is when landfall is expected. As of now, the National Hurricane Center is expecting the system to make landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. So winds could be up to 130 miles per hour. Wouldn't be surprised if Milton is a bit stronger than that at the time of landfall. So it's currently 160. By landfall tonight to tomorrow, it's expected to drop a bit to 130. But that's still going to result in those catastrophic impacts. And not just the storm surge, heavy rain, and those very strong winds, but the threat of tornadoes. We could see some tornadoes popping up across Florida as we head throughout today and as Milton approaches. So that's going to be another threat. But in terms of the storm surge, those evacuation orders have been in effect, and hopefully everyone along the coast where the system is going to be making landfall has evacuated, because the storm surge is going to be absolutely horrific, up to 15 feet in some areas. So that is enough to cover buildings completely submerge them. So as I said, I hope that everyone who's been under that evacuation order has taken heed and has taken this very seriously, because it's going to be a life-threatening situation as we go throughout the day and into tonight. And then, of course, those very strong winds will result in a plethora of power outages right across the state. And then the heavy rainfall. Now, the rainfall associated with Milton could be at the maximum of 16 inches in parts of Florida, but most areas within the path of the direct path of the hurricane could experience rainfall up to 12 inches associated with Milton. So that is a lot of water. The storm surge plus the heavy rain resulting in inland flooding. So those dangerous conditions are going to be bearing down as we head throughout today, guys. So that is what is going on right now in the tropics as it relates to Milton. And as I said, there are a couple of other systems out there. We could see a brief tropical or subtropical storm form later today from that invest area out in the Atlantic, and it could near Bermuda with some impacts. So I'll keep you guys posted as necessary, and that is essentially what I wanted to share with you in this update video. If you're in Florida, my thoughts and my prayers are with you. I hope that you will safely ride out Milton. So if you do have any additional questions, though, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I will respond to you when I have the chance to do so. And remember to always be weather-wise.